I think the main theme of this press conference and the main theme of the Democratic Unionist Party of the Republic of Ireland is back to the future. We want to look back to Ireland's past for the solutions going forward. We see people ask us, why unionism? And we expect this question to be asked many times. But the simple answer is, nationalism, in its form that we have it today, hasn't worked. It was an experiment, a noble experiment, but unfortunately has fallen far short of where the people of this country, and ultimately that's what it's about. It's about the people. We have seen the economic freedom that we've been given through the 1921 agreement with Britain. We've seen that freedom abused, and we've also seen the Irish people enslaved by the old men of the various governments that have run this country as their own personal fiefdoms from 1921 right down to the present day. A Nation, once again, is a song that many nationalists sing, usually tanked up a drink in a bar at 1 o'clock in the morning. But what real practical value has it? What good is a so-called nation if its people are not happy and have no hope, no future, no stability? We originally were an island, as the folklore goes, that was invaded by British forces, the oppressors, 800 years ago, and since that time we've had 800 years of so-called oppression. What people fail to say is, during that time, even before that time, Irish tribes invaded Scotland. And actually that's why Scotland became Gaelic speaking, because it was invaded by the Gaelic Irish. So we have a history of invading long before the British actually, or the Normans, or whatever you want to call them, invaded us. So we have no high moral ground there. Economic and social benefits of rejoining the Union are enormous. We've tried for 8 years, tried to declare ourselves independent of Britain, yet realistically they're our largest trading partner, and it actually has been made huge economic folly in us trying to be something other than we are. We joined the Euro through the Maastricht Treaty. We joined the Euro mainly because, as Tommy Tiernan said in one of his comedic routines, what does it mean to be Irish? It means we're not British. That's not a good reason. The fact is, we joined the Euro because we wanted to prove to the world outside, to everyone else, that we were capable of running ourselves and that we weren't British subjects anymore. Well, that's proven completely wrong. We've ignored the economic advice that we got at the time, which said that because we share an island with obviously the north of Ireland, who has sterling, we, as I said, Britain is our largest trading partner. It was economic suicide what we did. Yes, to prove that we weren't somehow in hock to Britain, we joined the Euro, which is completely alien to us and our economy, where our sphere of America and England, which is this economic sphere we're in, and we were told just get on with it. Alan Dukes made a comment that exporters should just get on with it. Well, we did get on with it. Look where it got us. We had an economic interest rate policy, which is totally alien to our economic system, resulting in low interest rates when we needed high interest rates, resulting in a euro which by turn was strong when we needed probably weak. And we ended up in a system where we'd a runaway economy, and this was like throwing petrol on fire. And now we end up in the situation we're in. I would liken it perhaps that when we gave up our economic sovereignty and our link to sterling, we ended up a bit like a taxi driver who has given the wheel to his passenger and told him it's now his turn. And instead of trying to, as the government should have done, when he realised he was giving up the controls of interest rates and our currency devaluation, by giving up those controls, it was like the taxi driver strapping himself to the roof of the taxi, letting the passenger drive the taxi into a ditch, coming off the roof after and saying, well, what could I do? The very fact is, we should never have joined the Euro. We should have stayed part of the economic unit that was sterling or linked to sterling. But to this day, if we had done that, and the hubris of our politicians, both Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, indeed Labour, in fact the whole political spectrum was all for this Euro project. The sad thing is we're now stuck to it, and is now led through also incompetent government to the whole crisis that we now suffer. And let you be no mistake about it, we're in a huge crisis here, and there's no possible way we can get ourselves out of it unless we look at radical decisions, unless we look at back to the future, unless we look at rejoining where we should be, and essentially having home rule under a British regime which values us as a competent member. Because bear in mind, in the EU we're just one small voice among many, but in the United Kingdom we're one essentially of, if you take Scotland, Wales and England, one of four, and we have a much larger voice in that situation.